Hey guys, Coach Green here, and I am with Healthy Homestead Living. Today we are going to talk about the amazing eggplant. Eggplant is one of those vegetables that when I was a kid, I would see it at the grocery store and I'd be like, oh, it's a cool color, but what do you do with it? How do you cook it? How do you prepare it? What do you use it for? So today we are going to talk more about the eggplant specifics and what to do with it. Now, eggplant is one of those really awesome vegetables that is very versatile. There's so much you can do with it, and it has a great neutral flavor. Eggplant, interestingly enough, is from the nightshade family, which means that it's a sister to the tomato, the pepper, and the potato. When you are planting an eggplant, just like tomatoes and peppers, they like heat. So they want to be planted after the last frost, and they need good heat and consistent sunlight to produce well. When you're selecting an eggplant at the grocery store, or if you're picking it out of your garden, you want a nice, firm, deep color on the flesh of the eggplant. Now, preparing it is pretty straightforward. The best way is to first slice it up, and then we're going to roast it. That's my personal favorite. There's a lot of different ways that you can actually prepare it. If you are purchasing an eggplant from the grocery store, you'll want to peel the skin off before you consume the eggplant, simply because you want to get those pesticides off. You can wash it, but the skin is better if you just peel it off. If it comes from your garden, just leave the skin on. First thing I'm going to do is cube this. You can slice it into slices or cube it, but I find for most recipes I like to cube mine. So first I cut the top off and then cut the bottom off. And then, like I said, if it came from the store, you'll want to peel this. And let me grab out my peeler here so that we can get the peels off of this eggplant. And we'll just quickly take the skin off. The inside of an eggplant is a nice creamy or somewhat green color. Should be somewhat spongy in texture. Now, if you have chickens or goats like we do, this goes into the bucket to go out to the barn, and we'll have some happy animals here in a little bit. Now, in the meantime, the other thing is to preset your oven at 450 degrees, so it could be preheating. I like to use a toaster oven so I'm not heating up the whole house, but a regular oven works great too. So I have it preheating right now to 450 degrees. That sounds pretty high, but we want to get a nice toasty eggplant when we roast our eggplants. Then I'm just gonna dice these up real quick. Now, we could just leave them as slices, depending on your recipe. It also is a great meat substitute for certain recipes where you put a marinara sauce or some different sauces that work really great. Or these are really good, you just throw them on the grill just like this. But I'm gonna, for this case, cube them just a little bit. Now, the next step, we're going to grab a bowl, throw these in the bowl with some garlic, some salt, and some oil. So I'll be right back. Now we have our ingredients ready to go for roasting. Our oven is preheating, and we're putting our cubed eggplant into our bowl. And then you can use garlic powder or minced fresh garlic. For the sake of time today, I'm just going to use some garlic powder, about 2 teaspoons or so, depending on how much you like garlic. We love garlic in our household, so I like to give it a little extra. And then about a teaspoon of Celtic sea salt. And then we got to work fast because we do have our eggplant is a little bit spongy. We'll put a little bit of oil in there, just enough to get the garlic and the salt to adhere to the eggplant a little bit. Now I like to use grapeseed or avocado oil. A lot of recipes will call for olive oil, but here's the problem. Olive oil is a cold oil. It doesn't do well when it's heated, and it can actually become toxic to your system. So we want to use an oil that is okay to heat, where it doesn't break down the molecular structure of the oil and make it difficult for your system. So grapeseed or avocado or coconut is really good for high heat cooking. In this case, we don't want to use coconut because it's solid. We'd have to melt it first. So I'm using grapeseed today. So we're just going to drizzle some oil in here. Not too much, we just want a little bit, and then we'll work quickly because this is going to suck in and sponge it right up real quick. So I'm going to stir it just to incorporate all of that in there. So now that we have that all incorporated and stirred, we'll put a lid on this and let it sit for 20 to 30 minutes. That's the secret with eggplant, is we want to give it a chance to sit in the salt and oil and garlic so that it marinates a little bit, and then it allows the fibers of the eggplant to soften and be ready to be cooked, so you get the perfect texture in your eggplant. So we'll set this aside for 20 to 30 minutes and then we'll be right back. 30 minutes have passed. Our eggplant has had a chance to sit and marinate, so now we are ready to put it on a baking sheet. I'm using a smaller one because it's going into the toaster oven. And we want to spread this out nice and thin. The trick with eggplant is we do not want them overloaded on our baking pan. If it's too close together, then they'll just stew and you get real mushy eggplant. So we're going to spread these out. It's okay to use your hands if they're nice and clean. We're just going to spread them out nicely and have them spaced a little bit. Then this will go into the oven at 450 for 30 minutes. At that point, they'll shrink down, and then they're ready for your favorite recipe, or you can freeze them and then have them ready for the quick dinner when you come home from work and you're looking for something to fix. You just pull them out of the freezer and fix your recipe. So we're going to pop these in the oven for 30 minutes. We'll be right back. 30 minutes have passed, so now they are finished and we're ready to pull them out of the oven. And there we have it. Beautiful roasted eggplant. Now you could use this right away if you have a recipe that, like our eggplant lasagna, which is one of my personal favorites, then you want to make that right away. I'm not quite ready to do that though. I want to save these for later so that I have a quick and easy dinner on one of those nights where I come home and I just want to throw something together. So I'm going to let this cool just a little bit, put them in some freezer bags or the airtight Ziploc bags, and then they'll be ready to go when I need dinner in a hurry. That's all there is to eggplant. I encourage you to experiment and get to know your vegetables, get to know eggplant. It's really delicious. Thanks for watching.